Okay, we are live here. Here, day one, Composites Weekly, CAMX 2024. And I've got Chris Hurdleston and Kai Rayburn with ACS International. And stopping by, I've had these guys on before. We had Dorfner, the parent company, on last week. Great interview. But I've got these guys coming by today. Happy to have you on, and welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Justin.
Always good to be here.
Absolutely. So let's get into ACS International. I want to talk about, first of all, before we get into some of the news, let's talk about your background. For people that don't know who ACS is, what do you focus on? What is your specialty?
So ACS is part of the Dorfner Group since 2017. And my specialty personally is I worked for Dorfner before, and then I was relocated 2017 to Tucson, Arizona to take care of ACS. So my specialty was flooring systems, composites partly, and therefore it was a good fit to become the general manager of ACS in Tucson. And since then, we are doing very good. We are very successful with our product portfolio and focusing on satisfying customers, on finding solutions for customers.
Chris, you have a background in the industry as you have one of the unique perspectives as somebody that's with ACS is that you used to own a shop, a fabrication shop back in the day. And you did that for how many years?
I went and bought a cultured marble company back in April of 2000.
Yeah.
And my background was in paint manufacturing.
Right.
And when I looked at the cultured marble business, it was resin, pigment, and fillers.
Yeah.
And I thought, what could be easier shifting from the paint manufacturing to cultured marble? And I literally, the first week that I bought the business, I sat there and said, what the heck did I just do? So I literally knew nothing about manufacturing cast polymers.
Yeah.
And I had to learn it. And the way I learned it was talking to people in this industry.
Yeah.
And that was 24 years ago.
There's no substitution, right?
No substitution. And just building up a great network of smart people.
Yeah.
Great suppliers, great contacts. In 2010, I sold the business.
Okay.
And in 2014, I think it was, 2015, I started working for ACS.
Right.
I knew Jack Simmons as one of my suppliers for all those years. Yeah. And Jack called me one day and said, "Are you looking to make a change?" So I knew how to work all their products. I knew half the code. So it was a pretty simple transition.
You were self-educated.
Self-educated marble guy.
That's great. So I want to talk about some news that we're going to mention because, as I mentioned, we had Dorfner on last week. ACS being a part of Dorfner, but there's some changes, obviously major changes going, and that also, that kind of moves down to you guys as well. Maybe you can share what's going on, over the horizon with ACS coming up next year.
So we are focusing on two business areas. We are supplying products for composites and for flooring. And flooring is a kind of new business field for us. It's a similar product what we are already supplying for composites, but it's new. It's like for self-leveling decorative epoxy flooring. Mm-hmm. And most of the knowledge for this product is coming from Dorfner, originally from Dorfner. So even if we were bought, if we were merged with Dorfner 2017, we were already part of the Dorfner group. What is new is our name will change, so we will become Dorfner USA the beginning of next year. So this is a sign that we are really part of the international Dorfner group and part of this successful group.
So getting back to the flooring market in epoxy, that's a huge industry, right, Chris? I mean, that's
it was interesting that we never knew anything about the epoxy flooring market or the decorative epoxy market until maybe 6 years ago. And we were challenged to take one of our existing materials, mix it with epoxy and pour it on the floor. And we thought at first, well, that's kind of a ridiculous idea, but 6 years later, it's really panned out to be a huge area of growth for us.
Yeah.
And so using the same ideas, the same filler technology, with a bit of a twist, we had some reformulation issues. Right. We launched a new product, and it's gaining a lot of traction. Sales are going up, and it's very unique. No one has seen it in the epoxy flooring industry.
Wow.
Yeah. So
we got a lot of great feedback.
Got a lot of great feedback. It's taken a while to develop it.
Yeah.
It's a huge growth area for us, and not only on the decorative side, but once we're getting exposure to the decorative side, people are starting to ask us, okay, what do you have on infrastructure? What do you have on bridge and road repair, deck repair? That's where Dorfner comes in.
Yeah.
They've been in that market for years, and now ACS is being introduced to it, and we're starting to be seen as a supplier for those infrastructures and other markets as well. Huge growth opportunity, because we were talking earlier with Kai about, if you go into a hotel, how many sinks are there versus how much floor space is there.
Right.
So it's really a huge opportunity for us going forward.
Yeah. And that's commercial applications. I mean, you're talking industrial coatings,
commercial and residential. It could be your garage floor, your basement floor.
Okay.
We already have customers that are doing garage floors.
Okay.
We have a customer that's buying 10 truckloads of material. They're repairing a road that goes onto the Outer Banks. That's more of an infrastructure than a decorative. But there's many restaurants. There's some veterinary clinics. There's all kinds of different applications that we're finding. And the interesting thing is, people are coming to us. We're not chasing the business. They see the product, and they want to adopt it into what they're doing.
Wow.
Because it's highly decorative.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I think the main core competence is color. So what we can do, so we have, if you do a certain color, it has to be like contemporary, because otherwise people don't buy it. Yeah. And it has to be different than your competition. Otherwise they don't, for flooring and for countertops and bathroom sinks, etc. And in addition, customers expect to have the same quality, because if you have color and color would shift, would be not good. So let's say if you buy one bag of this color, half a year later, it should be the same. And short delivery time, quality should be okay. So I think this is the core competence why we are so successful and gain market share. Yeah.
So what kind of separates you guys? I mean, what's a little bit of the value that you provide to your customers out there?
I think in the last couple of years, we've really stepped up the competency of our lab. Our lab is matching Sherwin-Williams colors. We're matching paint colors. We're matching Pantone colors. We've added infrastructure as far as equipment and people that have specific skill sets that are really taking us to the next level.
Right.
Dorfner's been a bit of a driver behind that, and actually pretty inspirational, because they have a lab that's world class. And nice. So you kind of aspire to that.
Sure.
And just our consistency in color. It was interesting, a couple of weeks ago, in Canada, somebody ordered some of the epoxy flooring material, and they said they were concerned about how one bag was going to look to the next.
Sure.
And we don't have any issues with that. So the bag to bag, batch to batch consistency is very good, and because we've developed such an infrastructure with our lab.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, you want things to be. People want things to be the same every time.
Oh yeah, or you're redoing the floor.
Yeah.
And the next synergy is, because often as a quartz mine, so we're integrating quartz into our system. We have a spray quartz solution now.
Okay.
We know a lot about quartz, how to coat it, how to mix it, how to blend it, what kind of granule distribution you should have to save resin, etc. So this combination, this additional knowledge from Dorfner is a very significant advantage.
And that's for a floor coating too. I mean, that is for the floor coating.
That could be for composites too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what we're taking ideas that are already known and applying them to things that are unknown.
Okay.
So, for example, Dorfner is heavily involved in coating quartz, whether it's a ceramic coating or a polymer coating. And that's pretty cool looking stuff.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever mixed it with gel coat and sprayed it? Has anyone done compression molding? So we're taking ideas from one entity, combining it with what we know. And a couple of years ago, we came out with a spray quartz product. We're the first ones to develop spray quartz.
Okay.
So it's a very high filler loading.
Okay.
Which means the level of gel coat or resin is a lot lower, saves you money. Generally speaking, quartz is less expensive than making polymer chip.
Right.
So there's a lot of advantages.
And it's applied similarly to a filled material.
You can either cast it or spray it through a cup gun or a spray gun. Yeah, the material is so fine it's not going to clog. So you get kind of a granite look, or more of a solid surface look, but it's more quartz at the surface, which is highly scratch resistant. There's a lot of technical properties of why quartz could be a really good application for the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Great surface.
Yeah, guys, fantastic. people want to learn more, they go to acsinternational.com. I assume that's going to change. When
Beginning next year, I think. Yeah.
Probably next
you
year.
probably still have the domain that'll forward to Dorfner.
It might
Yeah, we
over
already
to
have
Dorfner
Dorfner
website.
emails, so still all the time we have Dorfner emails.
Yeah.
It's all the all the system is integrated into Dorfner.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Check them out. ACS International, guys. I appreciate you coming by.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you
And
very much for
I
listening.
hope you have a great show. It's I know you guys have been here since this morning, walking the floor. What's been the overall impression so far? Any new stuff, Chris?
I'm glad to see there's a lot of people here, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
We are seeing some new things, which we're not sure how they'll fit in yet, but
Right.
there's some new technologies. Robotics
Yeah.
was one.
Mhm.
We spent a lot of time talking about robotics and automation,
Right.
which I think is becoming more of an important issue.
Yeah.
To a lot of manufacturers.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new
Well,
materials.
people they're not able to find the help anymore.
Right.
You know, it's very troublesome when people don't want to work now.
Yeah. Right now the automation is still expensive, but I think once it gets adopted and it starts to scale, the price is going to come down.
Yeah.
Which is important. We're always looking for some new materials to play with. We're
Sure.
looking at carbon fiber and looking
Yeah.
at all kinds of nanotechnology, graphene.
Graphene,
We're
yes.
seeing some things, but we've only done about half the show, so we have another half to go.
What do they call graphene? The magic powder or magic dust?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to figure out a way to make it work, but it's always black.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's like Henry
That's been the
Ford.
question. Is there any color? You can have any color you want as long as it's
As
black.
long as it's
right?
black, and the market trends are against us right now.
Right.
Everyone wants white and gray.
Yeah.
Still.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. Well,
so we're poking around, seeing what we can find.
Guys, enjoy the show. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure as always. Love having you guys on. And again, you can check out this podcast with ACS International, and then the one, if you haven't checked it out, I'd encourage people to check out the one I did with your CEO there at Dorfner. Great conversation.
Thank you.
Mirko.
Yeah,
Mirko
Mirko
Mandan,
Mandan.
Yeah.
And had a lot of great things. I'm excited what you guys are with AI, just where you're going with that in terms of material science. That's pretty cool.
You can interview us soon about this. And
I will. There
will be more news about AI.
I will be doing that. That'll be the next year. Next year's docket will be AI.
I promise.
I think that's the overall trend, is that we're switching from just a raw material supplier to more of a technology company.
Yeah.
And I think that theme has really been hit hard at Dorfner, and it'll eventually come down to us.
Yeah.
So we're
future oriented.
Yeah,
for
pivoting
sure.
in a positive direction.
Yeah.
And we have a great parent company backing us up. So we have a lot of,
that helps. That makes a world of difference.
absolutely.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, enjoy the show and safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.